It's not just code that needs to be maintained and maintainable. Also unit tests. The maintainability is actually really important. It's very common to see poorly written, unmaintainable unit tests cause real problems in the future. People looking at the unit test need to be able to work out exactly what it's testing and how that relates through the needs of the customer, the user of the particular piece of code under test, the subject of the test. Now, this means you should really try very hard to test just one thing. You might think, oh, I can test 5 or 6 very easily within a single test invocation. That is one of the classic errors which people make when they're just learning to do unit testing. Putting lots of different tests together. No, you should break that out and actually use a common fixture if there's a lot of setup involved. What's a fixture? Well, a fixture in unit testing and testing in general is everything else which is required to make the test of the subject work properly. So, it might be some part of the environment around the subject which needs to be stored. Or it might be a Fluent API, some other classes which are there to make the tests more readable. Or it might simply be common code, reused code. So, when you put multiple logical tests together within the same unit test, that's a mistake and it indicates you need to start building a more substantial feature. It's also quite often the case, I think anyway, that it's an indication that you should move that into a separate test class. That means a single class really should have a single fixture. If the fixture or parts of it need to be shared, that's simple. You simply factor out the fixture as a separate class, perhaps by using inheritance, or more likely by composition, using delegation to a shared component. So, to reiterate, to make maintainable unit tests, what you need to do is write precisely focused and understandable unit tests which just test one particular unit. One subject, one test only, which is understandable and can be linked back to some facet of the user domain, the user requirements, quite easily and readably. Think about it. Makes sense. Which leads to the rule that really you shouldn't have one assert or one other way.